The Human Revolution, Embracing Authenticity in Leadership. Welcome to a groundbreaking exploration of what it truly means to lead in today's world. I'm thrilled to share with you the revolutionary insights I've gained from my recent interview with Lori Smallwood Wheeler, a visionary leader who's redefining success in the business world. Lori isn't just changing how we think about leadership. She's igniting a movement that could transform the very fabric of our professional lives. Lori Smallwood Wheeler is more than just a successful entrepreneur and coach. She's a beacon of hope in a world that often seems to value perfection over authenticity and relentless drive over genuine well-being. Her work is nothing short of revolutionary, challenging the status quo and paving the way for a more human-centric approach to leadership and success. Now, let me ask you a question. Have you ever felt like you're drowning in a sea of expectations? Like you're constantly treading water, desperately trying to keep your head above the surface while maintaining the facade of the perfect, unflappable leader? What if I told you that the key to true success and fulfillment isn't about being superhuman, but about embracing your humanity? This idea might sound simple, even obvious, but in the high-pressure world of business and entrepreneurship, it's a concept that's often forgotten, buried under mountains of stress, expectations, and the relentless pursuit of success. We've been conditioned to believe that showing vulnerability is a weakness, that admitting to stress is a failure, and that prioritizing self-care is a luxury we can't afford. But what if everything we thought we knew about leadership was wrong? Lori's insights have opened my eyes to a transformative truth. Leadership and entrepreneurship can be incredibly stressful, often leading to a variety of health issues. But here's the kicker. It's not just okay to normalize humanity, it's essential. It's not just acceptable to prioritize self-care, it's crucial. And understanding your stress and anxiety triggers, that's not a sign of weakness. It's a powerful strategy for turning stress into success. Now, I can almost hear the skeptics among you. Sure, you might be thinking, that sounds great in theory, but how does it work in the real world of cutthroat business? Well, buckle up because we're about to embark on a journey that will challenge everything you thought you knew about leadership and success. Let's start with the simple yet profound realization. We're all human. Shocking, right? But in the world of business and entrepreneurship, we often forget this fundamental truth. We push ourselves to inhuman limits, wear stress like a badge of honor, and view vulnerability as a weakness to be hidden at all costs. But what if I told you that this approach is not just unsustainable, but it's actually holding us back from reaching our full potential? Lori's approach flips this narrative on its head. She advocates for a leadership style that doesn't just acknowledge our humanity, but celebrates it. Imagine a world where leaders openly discuss their challenges, where self-care is seen as a critical business strategy, and where understanding your personal stress triggers is as important as understanding your profit margins. This isn't just feel-good fluff. It's a practical, powerful approach to leadership that can transform both your business and your life. Let's break it down into three key areas: normalizing humanity, prioritizing self-care, and understanding stress triggers. First, let's talk about normalizing humanity. In our interview, Lori shared a powerful story about a CEO who was struggling with burnout. This leader had always prided himself on his ability to work 80-hour weeks, to be available 24/7, to never show a crack in his armor. But behind closed doors, he was falling apart. His health was suffering, his relationships were strained, and his decision-making abilities were compromised. It wasn't until he had a frank conversation with his team, admitting his struggles and asking for support, that things began to turn around. To his surprise, his team didn't lose respect for him. Instead, they rallied around him. They shared their own challenges, and together they created a more open, supportive work environment. Productivity increased, employee satisfaction skyrocketed, and the company's bottom line improved. This story illustrates a crucial point. When we normalize humanity in leadership, we create space for authentic connections, improved communication, and a more resilient organization. It's not about being perfect. It's about being real. Now, let's move on to our second key area: prioritizing self-care. And no, I'm not talking about bubble baths and scented candles. Although if that's your thing, more power to you. I'm talking about strategic, intentional self-care that fuels your ability to lead effectively. Lori shared an example of a startup founder who was running herself into the ground, trying to launch her business. She was skipping meals, sleeping 4 hours a night, and hadn't seen the inside of a gym in months. She wore her exhaustion like a badge of honor, believing that this level of sacrifice was necessary for success. But here's the plot twist. When she finally took Lori's advice and started prioritizing her health, getting enough sleep, eating regular meals, and exercising, her business actually started to thrive. Her mind was clearer, her decision-making improved, and she had more energy to tackle challenges. She went from barely keeping her head above water to surfing the waves of entrepreneurship with confidence and joy. This story challenges the toxic myth that success requires sacrificing your well-being. In fact, it shows that taking care of yourself isn't selfish. It's a critical investment in your business. When you're at your best, you can give your best to your team and your company. Now, let's dive into our third key area, understanding and managing stress triggers. This is where things get really interesting because it's not just about reducing stress. It's about transforming it into a catalyst for success. Lori introduced me to a fascinating concept, stress mapping. This involves identifying your specific stress triggers and creating strategies to not just cope with them, but to use them as springboards for growth and innovation. She shared a story about a marketing executive who always froze up during important presentations. This stress trigger was holding her back from advancing in her career. But instead of trying to eliminate the stress, which, let's face it, is nearly impossible in high-stakes situations, she learned to harness it. She started by pinpointing the exact moments that triggered her stress. The walk to the podium, the first slide, the Kwanda session. Then she developed specific strategies for each trigger point. She created a pre-presentation ritual to center herself, practiced power poses to boost her confidence, and reframed her perception of audience questions as opportunities rather than threats. The result? Her presentations went from good to outstanding. The energy she previously wasted on anxiety was channeled into passion and engagement. Her stress trigger became her secret weapon. This approach to stress management isn't about eliminating stress. It's about transforming it. It's about understanding that stress, when properly harnessed, can be a powerful force for growth and achievement. Now, I can almost hear some of you thinking, this all sounds great, but I'm not sure I can do it. I'm not sure I can be that vulnerable, that open about my struggles. And to that, I say, that's exactly why you need to do it. Leadership isn't about being perfect. It's about being authentic, resilient, and inspiring others to be their best selves. By embracing your humanity, prioritizing your well-being, and transforming your relationship with stress, you're not just becoming a better leader, you're paving the way for a new, more sustainable, and fulfilling approach to success. So here's my challenge to you. Start small. This week, have one conversation where you're a little more open about your challenges. Take one step to prioritize your well-being, even if it's just getting an extra hour of sleep. And the next time you feel stressed, pause for a moment and ask yourself, how can I use this energy to fuel my success? Remember, this isn't just about you. By embracing this approach, you're creating a ripple effect that can transform your team, your organization, and potentially the entire business world. You're showing others that it's okay to be human, that self-care is a strength, not a weakness, and that our challenges can be our greatest teachers. Lori Smallwood Wheeler's insights offer us a powerful framework for transforming business chaos into strategic clarity while simultaneously reclaiming our personal bandwidth and well-being. It's a practical blueprint that addresses both the external systems of our businesses and the internal mindset shifts needed to break free from overwhelm. But let's take this a step further. Let's imagine for a moment what our world would look like if every leader embraced this approach. Picture boardrooms where vulnerability is valued as much as vision. Imagine workplaces where taking a mental health day is as normal as taking a sick day. Envision a business world where stress isn't something to be avoided, but a powerful tool to be harnessed. This isn't just a pipe dream. It's a revolution waiting to happen. And it starts with you. Think about the last time you felt truly alive at work. Chances are it wasn't when you were pretending to have all the answers or pushing yourself to the brink of exhaustion. It was probably a moment when you were fully present, fully engaged, fully human. That's the power of embracing your humanity in leadership. It's not about lowering standards or accepting mediocrity. It's about raising the bar on what it means to be a truly effective leader. When we embrace our humanity, we open ourselves up to deeper connections with our teams. We create environments where innovation can flourish because people feel safe to take risks and share ideas. We build organizations that are more resilient, more adaptable, and ultimately more successful. But here's the real kicker. Well, when we embrace our humanity in leadership, we don't just transform our businesses, we transform ourselves. We rediscover the joy in our work. We reconnect with our purpose. We remember why we started on this journey in the first place. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking is, this all sounds great, but my industry is different. My challenges are unique. This wouldn't work for me. And to that, I say, challenge accepted. Because here's the truth. No matter what industry you're in, no matter what challenges you face, you're still human. And so are the people you lead. The principles we've discussed today, normalizing humanity, prioritizing self-care, and transforming stress, are universal. They apply whether you're running a tech startup, managing a factory floor, or leading a multinational corporation. The only question is, do you have the courage to embrace them? As we wrap up, I want to leave you with a thought-provoking question. What could you achieve if you stopped trying to be a perfect leader and started embracing your role as a human leader? How might your team, your business, and your life transform if you had the courage to be authentically, unapologetically you? The business world is changing. The old models of leadership that prioritize stoicism and sacrifice are giving way to a new paradigm that values authenticity, well-being, and human connection. And you, yes, you have the power to be at the forefront of this revolution. So as you leave here today, I encourage you to take a deep breath. Feel the weight of expectations and perfectionism lift off your shoulders. Embrace your humanity, prioritize your well-being, and get ready to transform your stress into your secret weapon for success. Remember, you're not just a leader, you're a human being leading other human beings. And that, my friends, is your superpower. But let's not stop there. Let's take this beyond these walls. Let's start a movement that redefines what it means to be a leader, a movement that challenges the status quo and says we can be successful without sacrificing our humanity. In fact, embracing our humanity is the key to true success. I challenge each and every one of you to become ambassadors for this new way of leading. Share what you've learned here today with your teams, with your colleagues, with other leaders in your network. Start conversations about vulnerability, about self-care, about stress management. Be the change you want to see in the business world. And don't just talk about it, live it. Lead by example. Show your team what it looks like to be a human leader. Be open about your challenges. Prioritize your well-being. Transform your relationship with stress. And watch as your authenticity inspires others to do the same. Imagine a world where every workplace is a place of growth, innovation, and genuine human connection, where burnout is the exception, not the norm, where leaders are admired not for their infallibility, but for their authenticity and resilience. This world is within our reach, but it won't happen by itself. It requires each of us to make a choice to embrace our humanity, a choice to lead with authenticity, a choice to prioritize our well-being and the well-being of those we lead. So I ask you, are you ready to make that choice? Are you ready to join the human revolution in leadership? The world needs leaders like you, authentic, resilient, and unafraid to be human. Go out there and show them how it's done. Be the leader you wish you had. Be the change you want to see in the business world. Remember, every time you embrace your humanity, every time you prioritize your well-being, every time you transform stress into success, you're not just improving your own life and business. You're paving the way for a new era of leadership, an era where success and well-being go hand in hand, an era where authenticity is valued above perfection, an era where being human is our greatest strength, not our biggest weakness. This is your moment. This is our moment. Let's seize it. Let's start the human revolution in leadership. Together, we can transform not just the business world, but the world at large. Thank you.